Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Saturday, July 30th, a little after 3 p.m. Eastern. There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things that are beyond the power of your will. Epictetus. One of the greatest sensations in this life is the feeling that everything really works out perfectly in the end. In the midst of all of the global fear, confusion, and chaos, we always have the option to step back from it all and see life from a more spiritual perspective. Everything relaxes the moment we see that behind every event that happens in life, there is a highly intelligent, deeply loving force that is steering the entire ship of humanity. Wouldn't it be amazing to simply speak the words out loud every morning? And those words would be, everything will work out perfectly in my life. And the key is to truly believe it all day long. The process of assimilating this belief as the whole truth can be a little tricky and arduous experience. For us to arrive at 100% trust that everything happening in humanity today is unfolding in a divine orchestration, we first need to explore one thing: how to stop identifying with this untrusting inner control freak inside ourselves who is there behind the scenes trying to micromanage the show. Here's how you do it. Deep beneath the surface of the everyday world, there exists a unified field of energy that pervades everyone and every living and dead thing in the entire universe. This field we might name quantum consciousness. It is the most benevolent, grace-filled energy that has the highest loving guidance for all. Now, you might say it feels like the heart of God, or a force of the purest love that pervades everything. It is currently directing everyone to the most divine, intelligent future possible. So no matter how challenging or wrong things may temporarily seem for your life, when you can sit back from the mind and refocus on this divine field behind it all, you'll see that right now, the greatest rebirth is happening for humanity. Everything is unraveling itself naturally to unveil the highest truth that has been hidden from our eyes. Remain focused on this field of divinity, guiding it all, and you will remain perfectly calm throughout the entire apocalypse. A new type of thinking is essential if mankind is to survive and move on to higher levels. Albert Einstein. Excuse me. You may think that you're unable to see or feel any aspect of this divine field of love. Yet this is just the mind attached to another thought and story. Set aside the mind and feel into your silence. It might take you a bit, maybe 48 minutes to get there. Yet it's worth it to feel how the great spiritual essence behind everything. When the mind is quiet, everything becomes clear. It is not easy to quiet the mind, as we all know. Yet you will know when you've shifted out of its grasp, because your body will respond by allowing you to breathe deeply and fully in your belly again. While the entire humanity is purging and restructuring itself, you must choose to spend as much time feeling the light of divinity is also within you, in your heart. But feeling this natural beacon of light within yourself, you naturally bring guidance for others. The simple awareness of the warm light of divinity within you will set your inner spiritual fire ablaze. And it can happen quite fast. By keeping a relaxed body and a mind that is focused in this present moment, now, where the field of divinity exists, you'll soon begin to feel the divine warmth inside you. Keep focusing the mind inside and relaxing any tiny tightening in the body. When you feel a moment of lightness, bathe in this expansive energy and follow it inside. You will start to see a beautiful, bright, flawless future is inside you, shaping you and the rest of the world. Let the beauty we love be what we do. Let the beauty we love be what we do. There are hundreds of ways to kneel and kiss the ground, Rumi. Humanity is attending the greatest spiritual awakening school in history. We are all being individually upgraded to 5D consciousness. Some take longer than others. Where we will shift out of polarity thinking, us versus them is polarity thinking, and begin operating as one unified organism and planet. This is a spiritual rebirthing for each person on a unique and individual level. So you will get to reap what you have sown in the past, and whatever actions you do in the future will be met in your final harvest at the very end. So take as much responsibility as you can for creating more peacefulness inside yourself. This is the most powerful tactic we can adhere to at this time. By taking 100% responsibility for our own mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being in every moment of each day. You are here to become lighter and freer from your heaviness and become more aware of your higher purpose in this life. Who knows, without a doubt, that everything will work out perfectly in the end. Your journey into your own personal healing all begins with awareness. When you are vigilantly aware, the moment your body contracts in fear, and you sit back in your awareness and acknowledge that behind the fearful thought is the field of divinity. It is still here. The mind is simply putting on an entertaining horror show for you. With pure awareness, you will stop getting hooked into that fear-based movie and low vibrational thinking. Your inner screen and outer screen will be very captivating. It has already mesmerized and hypnotized you. It speaks many truths and many lies. And your job is to tell which one is which. As you become more aware and your awareness gets stronger like a bright fire, this light will free you from the darkness and the over-controlling fear-based thinking patterns. Your awareness is the one thing that will set you free. The issue, however, is that there is something deep inside you that is not aware. This unconscious part needs to be brought to the surface to be seen. We will call this part our inner control freak. This is the untrusting part of us who doesn't think everything is always in divine orchestration. The inner control freak is that aspect of ourselves who cannot surrender to life, who believe it always needs to be in charge, or you are not safe. The inner control freak might believe that God is in charge to some degree, yet somehow it doesn't trust in this invisible force 100% of the time. The inner control freak needs full control to feel safe from harm, and that you are living life on purpose, capable of making your mind happy. When the inner control freak feels it can control life's wheel around every little turn, then it feels safer. And that something horrible will not happen. When we become acutely aware of our inner control freak, we see its controlling game and untrusting habit. Through awareness, we have just taken one step toward being free from it. The lack of awareness of our inner control freak only makes us suffer because by default, it wants to remain in control over every little thing. It thinks it always knows what's right and how to make you feel safe. We follow the control freak's thought patterns, not because it always does know what's best, or that it will only make good decisions in life, but we follow because we don't know anything else. We are too afraid to look behind the curtain and see what would happen to our lives if we surrendered to a higher divine plan and trusted 100% all day long that everything is always unfolding exactly as it should. Dive into your heart center. Sit in the silence. Desire self-realization with all your heart, with all your mind, and all your soul. Cry out for God, and you will be with the right people. Everything will take care of itself. Robert Adams. We are all given life situations that make our inner control freak happy, and ones that also frustrate the hell out of it. The secret here is knowing how to be at peace no matter what occurs. When your inner control freak doesn't get exactly what it wants, how do you usually respond? Are you going to freak out and be a slave to its emotional upheaval? Are you going to allow your inner control freak to ruin the peaceful freedom you get from abiding in your heart? If you can live today with 100% trust in your heart, how do you think your inner control freak will respond? The choice is always yours, whether you follow the motive of your inner control freak or not. Your mind has this unconscious automatic mechanism inside it that says, the moment life doesn't agree with my plan, I will either fight, freeze, or fly away. When things happen against my ego's desires, then the entire world is against me. This is the moment the inner control freak takes full control, becoming a tyrant who will never allow you to feel weak, powerless, or small. When you can see your inner control freak is inside you all day long making decisions for you, you will begin to realize how everything and everyone in your life is a teacher for your awakening. There rarely is 5 to 10 seconds where this inner controlling mechanism is not at work. As you start to understand how pervasive it is, how your inner control freak is always forcing you to live in a smaller fishbowl of truth, making you afraid to live a bigger life from an oceanic truth, you start to ignore your inner control freak and naturally let it go. Enlightenment is not about imagining figures of light, but of making the darkness conscious. Carl Jung. The soul, or present moment awareness, is the state of pure consciousness in a soul. This space has no fixed opinion about anything. It is simply here to experience all the good, bad, sweet, and salty aspects of life. It does not need to control anything. Once you find this state of pure consciousness inside you, you can live inside it and naturally discover a higher perspective that seems and sees everything and everyone is always the way it should be. The trusting track that exists free from the mind knows how each thought and action is divinely orchestrated to the finest perfection, no matter what our inner control freak may believe is true. The inner control freak does have a very important spiritual purpose, or it wouldn't be here. It is trying to wake you up from the dream by creating so many false security, safety, followed by tension and fear in your life. You simply are forced to step into surrender and trust. You can try to spiritually convince the inner control freak that everything is going to work out for the highest good. Yet there's really nothing that anyone could say to make it actually believe everything is going to turn out perfectly in the end. No matter what great spiritual or religious argument the greatest minds on earth could conceive of, the mind will always summon up another doubt, fear, or disbelief, saying, what if XYZ happens? Then what? So how do we help the inner control freak to let go of fear and believe everything is happening for the highest good of all? The secret begins with how closely you're listening to your mind and body. When you can become more attentive, more sensitive to it every day, the body will give you signals of not trusting or trusting. We live in the perfect process created by the universe, and we are doing that perfectly whether we realize it or not. Okay. When we are deeply trapped in the mind of this inner control freak and living for years with this tight, white-knuckled grip on life's steering wheel, our bodies will feel tight. Our shoulders, back, and neck filled with tension or some form of tension. This is the body's attempt at trying to wake you up from believing in the thoughts of your inner control freak. The thoughts are making your body respond with pain. If you can feel the pain while seeing the illusions you're creating with the mind that are making the pain manifest, then you can release it through tears, laughter, and relax deeper into your body, and your consciousness becomes more clear. The moment you surrender to your experience, to your every experience in life, knowing each experience is the perfect experience for your awakening, you start to see the greater plan and begin to deeply let go of your attachment to your inner control freak and its incredible story of suffering. When you truly let go, you will feel this momentarily free fall into the vast unknown, which is initially deeply terrifying. And then when you relax into the free fall, you find an even deeper, expansive inner voice that says, even though I'm not in control right now, everything is going to be perfectly okay. Think of your inner control freak as like a powerful computer program that was designed to remain in doubt, separation, possessiveness, jealousy, attachment, and fear. You, however, are the infinite light of awareness who has over-identified with this computer program. You don't have to participate in the computer's fearful drama program if you don't want to. You can stop the program completely through pure awareness alone. You are just borrowing the software and the hardware body that comes with it for a few trips around the sun. One final day, you will have to let go of all of it. Yet during your final laps around the sun, you can practice unhooking the mind from its thoughts by allowing the mind to be super still without having any desire or focus at all. The computer program will eventually slow down and stop. You will suddenly wake up and see that your inner control freak is nowhere to be found. All there is pure awareness. I highly encourage you to explore this non-thinking experience for just 3 minutes a day. Eventually, you'll catch a glimpse of an enlightened state that is free from fear. If you get good at being thought-free, if and when you get good at being thought-free, and can become thoughtless for 28 minutes in a row, you'll transcend your inner control freak entirely and experience absolute bliss, guaranteed. Then you will upgrade your computer program with an entirely new fearless system that knows for 24 hours a day that everything is going to work out perfectly in the end. Consciousness can only observe what undergoes change. That which is eternal cannot be observed by consciousness or known by it. Unless you meditate on this point, the puzzle will not be solved. Nisargadatta. In a clear-minded, thoughtless state, it's so super easy to see that the whole universe is divinely orchestrated. Everywhere you go, you see and feel that every moment of your life is perfect and divinely on track. You can see how everything is consciousness in different forms, how every atom is guided, and every event is the universe conspiring to awaken you to experience the grand truth of who you are. You are here to remember that you are divine. You are a soul who has never been disconnected from God. When you stop the mind in its tracks for 3 minutes, you will see that whatever challenges life throws at you, we should say for you, are always attempting to give you another experience of growth towards love, unity, and connection that a control freak program doesn't like at all. The only reason the mind believes that things are not working out for the greater good is simply we have been deeply hypnotized by the inner control freak's program, which is always overflowing with doubt, fear, negativity, lack, and scarcity. It wants the mind to be attached to its own separate agenda because that's how it forms a tighter and more secure grip onto life. However, real safety and security can never be found through the mind. The mind is only made up of illusionary thoughts that come and go. These illusions cannot provide feelings of real safety and security, which can only be found from the perspective of the soul. It really doesn't matter so much if your life doesn't go exactly the way your inner control freak thinks it should. Everything is already divinely orchestrated. And as we detach from the ego's agenda, we naturally begin to trust and inherently know that it all works out in the end. The whole point of life is to be in a constant learning for learning love. And this naturally happens by letting go of fear. When we remember that this is the main reason why we are here, then we can let go, let anything happen, and enjoy the ride. Of course, our minds will try to have their pendulum swinging from fear to trust and back to fear on its own. Excuse me. This is all it knows, to be free from this process. It is just to shake and awaken the mind free from any deep past life karmic tentacles that have kept us trapped in fear for lifetimes. Life is always going to be in a constant change, and the mind will want to swing from negative to positive and back to the negative again until we can completely sit back, stop identifying with this inner control freak, the mind. With just one deep breath, we can detach from it, see how everything's a game, a play on the stage of this life, and the most sacred fuel for our spiritual awakening. Everything is perfect in the universe, even your desire to improve it. Wayne Dyer. My greatest advice to you is this. Watch your mind from the understanding that it is very dangerous. Okay? Watch your mind from the understanding that it is very dangerous. It can destroy your relationships, your health, your home, your family, or anything you dream or deem valuable. If you can watch it with full awareness, if and when you can watch it with full awareness, you can one day train it and tame it. The mind is the most essential thing to train. If you ever want to feel truly safe in this world, if it's not trained, you might as well be slathering yourself with meat juice and jumping into a den of hungry lions. Truly so. The more you can observe your thoughts, the more you can become free from them. The more you can observe your thoughts, the more you can become free from them. If you can simply if you can be inside long enough, you will see that you are not this inner control freak. You are the one who is the observer of it. You are the watcher. You are not the one who is biased, judgmental, stuck, lost, or needs to be saved. You are the soul. A slut who is open to having any and every experience life wants to deliver. Whenever you stick tight to or hold on to any thought for an extended period of time, it soon becomes a mood, attitude, or overall approach to life. This is how you have identified with the inner control freak and stopped being free. You get caught thinking you're some small fish in a fishbowl swimming around in circles and unable to jump into the great ocean of life. Remember, your inner control freak is very sneaky and slippery. It has been your master at trying to run your life, control your life, and make it whatever it wants for ages. It is the master of judging you and your every experience of life as either being right or wrong. Your inner control freak lives in a black and white reality. Your inner control freak can only say, this person is terrible, then believes another one is an angel. It polarizes life, divides it, separates it, as this is how it remains in control. No matter what your mind believes, it will always come from separation and control. Illusions. It can only exist in this state, which brings it a false temporary sense of happiness based on if outer events are going its way or not. Run like hell, my dear, from anything that may not strengthen your precious budding wing. Huff-its. There are no real enemies in this world. The only enemy in this world is that part of you who holds on to fear and cannot let go and trust life. Once you make peace with the inner control freak, you will stop clinging so tightly onto any thought or belief. You will flow with the tides, allow the rivers to take you through life, and be led down the most beautiful waters. The only reason you believe in these controlling illusions is so that you'd have the experience of falling deeply asleep under its spell. Your soul came here to forget that you are a spiritual being on a fantastic journey through eternity. So the inner control freak acts as a secret awakening agent to force you into so much suffering that you have to wake up from the dream. This is the day when you return to trusting life 100%, and your true spiritual journey begins. We all need to be asleep if we want to have the experience of waking up. Your current life, however, can never find a way into permanent peace with this world until you step in and decide to become the master of your inner control freak, the master of your mind. The more you can observe it from a distance and see how it takes over your mind, the more you'll become free from it. And the more enlightened you'll become. Eventually, with practice, you'll transcend the inner control freak and experience 24/7 peace of mind that knows everything will turn out perfectly in the end. Since everyone is one's own self, whoever does whatever to whoever is doing it only to himself. Since everyone is one's own self, whoever does whatever to whoever is doing it only to himself. Ramon Rishi. We are all playing a unique and very peculiar role in the grand play of life. Our inner control freaks are always there behind the scenes trying to manipulate the actions on the main stage. It wants to be in control of every movie scene and be in charge of everything. So you may find it disguises itself as playing the role of the actor, producer, director, or even some detached observer sitting in the back row of the audience. Your inner control freak may not enjoy certain scenes, thinking that they aren't playing out perfectly, exactly the way it thinks they should. So you will see how it rebels and resists certain actors on the stage and avoids talking about certain scenes completely. Whenever you can notice this, watching how you get overly attached to how a scene should be happening, this is the moment to stop and observe it deeply, because it is a great opportunity for awakening. Try to see that everything and everyone is your leader. Every moment of your day is being guided by divinity, no matter whether you believe this or not. You have nothing to fear. You are on the path of eternity because you are an infinite soul and have an eternal amount of time to get there. So the next time your inner control freak gets triggered by someone, remember that. Remember that you have an infinite amount of choices to get it right, and ultimately have the choice to be free from this temporary illusion or create more drama and pain around. Grace is the thread that weaves my life together seamlessly. Jessica Upchurch. Whatever happens in this life, there is always a beautiful gift in it. You. Right? Whatever happens in this life, there's always a beautiful gift in it for you. In the eyes of the universe, you truly cannot make a wrong choice. If your inner control freak regrets a choice or is afraid to make any choice at all, just notice how your body tenses up. It's like it's preparing for an attack or going to war. Sometimes it will take the offensive side and start attacking others, as this is the best strategy for defense. Whenever your inner control freak gets upset about anything, it simply is feeling out of control and in need of a higher solution. Your inner control freak is longing for healing, nurturing, softness, kindness, movies that make it feel that all is good in the world. Try to feed it thoughts that will encourage it to let go, so you may enjoy whatever happens in your life. When your inner control freak begins to feel safe and secure, knowing there is a bigger plan, it doesn't have to be in control. It will relax into knowing that everything always works out perfectly, in the end, for the highest good of all concerned. Nothing matters as much when it knows there is gentle, loving energy guiding behind it all. When your inner light of pure awareness, the God source, is given permission to run the show, the inner control freak will take a seat in the audience and dissolve. You can instantly feel everything in life is easier. You know without a doubt that it's all going to work out in the end. You realize that your job is to learn how to love and enjoy yourself all the way to the final scene, where the greatest applause you've ever imagined will come through. The opportunity for freedom is only in a light that can outshine 1,000 suns. This light is already here, yet it needs you to practice feeling it, observing it, and being super gentle with yourself when the demanding control freak steps on stage. With time and sincere devotion to this practice, you can discover the magical flow of life is always here, and know that there is a divinity behind it all, always deeply, eternally loving you in the most challenging situations. Our souls already know that everything is perfect, and every moment is an opportunity to find a deeper path to love. We simply have the choice in each moment if we want to align with our soul or our inner control freak and listen to the greatest truth inside. Deep, deep, deep down, it is there. You already are this infinite soul from the light who is on a tremendous human journey of transformation. So every time a challenging circumstance arises, just remember that the golden key, relax and let go of control. Surrender to stillness. This is the secret to being free. Relax and let go of control and surrender to stillness. In every moment, there is an opportunity to meet God. When you are silent, still and aware, you won't miss it. When you can relax into each breath, each moment of mind, it plasters illusions all over you, you can learn how to see through the game and be free. With awareness, you can see a deeper understanding of why this situation had to emerge as it did and why it was not clear for you at the time. Absence of consciousness is ego. Whenever the ego is absent, God is present. Osho. Whenever the ego is absent, God is present. So my final advice for all of you is this. Life is the school. Awareness, freedom, and love are the lessons. When you become devoted to learning these three lessons, you will find this relaxed, self-loving, self-accepting state of being. You will know that every experience in this life is sacred. When you wake up in the morning, knowing that awareness, freedom, and love are the big lessons for the day, you cannot ever fail. Your inner control freak begins to trust and see the path to happiness is found in this very spiritual perspective. When the lessons are accepted and respected daily, it becomes very clear that no matter what happens in this life, that everything always works out perfectly in the end. So we go to a place where we're not going to be interrupted, and we already are. And the first thing that we care to do is relax these bodies. Most of us don't do that. We're in the habit, right, with the control freak. We don't do that because we don't practice it. We just don't do it. But relaxing the body is imperative. And we relax the body one way, and that is through the breath. Always through the breath. Easy and slowly in through the nose, and easy and slowly out through the mouth. What does this do when we do that? It moves us out of the ego mind, right? The control freak ego and the mind. It stills them. We don't engage them. We don't interact with them. We watch them without judgment. We view. And we learn. We learn how they operate. We learn what they need, what they really want. Also, you move into the now, no matter what your control freak's going to tell you. The now is all any of us have. We don't have tomorrow. We don't have yesterday. And none of us could ever seriously, completely say to ourselves, well, yeah, I'll wake up tomorrow morning. So the now is all we have. And the mind chatter that we all experience, the noise, the head noise, that's not there. We put out over 60,000 thoughts a day. That's not there. We have tens of millions and billions of thoughts that fly by like clouds in the sky. 99.999% of them aren't ours. They're like programs. They really are programs. They're not there. Moment to moment, right? The now stills all of that busyness. And honestly, if someone were to come to you, and to them it probably would sound crazy, and they ask you, what are you going to be doing 5 years from now? And you say, I have no idea. I am living in the now, moment to moment. And that is where I'm at peace. You see how we get shifted? How we get trained, right? So if you have amnesia, and you really don't know who and what you are, right? And you're more connected to the body, and you live in the material physical world. So you don't have the awareness of who and what you are. And you're constantly being distracted. Constantly being distracted to the material physical world. It's not a negative. No. It's what most of us do. And in the material physical world, we suffer. Right? Have you ever, in the material physical world, said to yourself, I'd like this to happen. I wish this could happen tomorrow. Right? I want this to happen. I need this to happen. And it doesn't. What do you feel? You feel forlorn. You feel disappointed. You feel upset. Emotionally, right? That's suffering. In the now, there's no such thing as suffering. And the now is the gateway to going within, discovering the God that you are, and being at peace, and living in bliss through life. And anything that occurs, occurs. And when you can direct and master your thoughts, you'll be blown away. There is nothing that any of us are incapable of. There is nothing that any of us are incapable of. That can go any way. it's interesting because we reminisce, we remember things, right? And we kind of relive them, we review them. That was fun. You could be doing something, interacting with somebody, or just being, and this memory comes over you. And you recall, it just comes out of the clear blue, right? It's not like you've designed it to come there. It just comes in. You say, boy, that was fun. I really enjoyed that. Could have been 30 years ago. I really enjoyed that. That was really fun. I'd like to do that again. And then there's other times we say, I did this. Could have been another lifetime. I did this. It didn't work. But I think now if I do this way, it'll work. So we always find ourselves standing. You visualize this in front of three paths. The one we're standing in front of is the now, moment to moment. The one on the left is yesterday. The one on the right is tomorrow, past, future. Now, we see how they've been configured. We see how the trees have formed golden canopies over each path, the leaves and the branches and the bark, shimmering gold. And then we see the path itself as a brilliant emerald green flaming grass, appears to be grass. And we notice that the one on the left, yesterday, the past, that baby has been worn. It has been used. The one on the right, tomorrow, the future, same thing. Really, it's not hard to tell that they've been super, super used. Now, the one in the center, the now, it looks brand new. And see, our awareness, we know why, because the ego mind doesn't exist in the now. And so therefore, it's going to do everything it can to keep us in the past or the future. It does a pretty good job of it, doesn't it? And this is why so many of us are irritated, upset, nervous, worried, and fearful. It isn't our natural place to be. It isn't our natural state. That's why it becomes so uncomfortable at times. So we'll take the past, right? We'll go down there. We'll go up the stairs and we'll open the door of our great hall, because we all have a great hall, and we'll go in, turn on a light, walk in there. Now, when you walk into a room, anywhere, just regularly, you won't. You probably don't notice it, but you immediately flash your eyes at the ceiling and the walls. But when you go into your great hall, you do the same thing, but you don't see any ceilings or walls because it's so huge, vast. Now, our subconscious mind, right? It records everything the conscious mind does. Everything. Everything. And it stores it in the great hall. So whatever you enter that baby body, and that point forward, it's recording everything. Everything, everything, everything. It doesn't stop. Then what it does is randomly place things back. So you could be doing anything, and all of a sudden you're somewhere doing, and you go, wait a minute, I've done this before. And it's interesting, you have. Might have been this life or another life, but you've done it before. So when we go into the past, we'll go into some drawers and some shelves, right? And then we'll pick up some movies and books and pictures of our life experiences, whatever life. We'll go sit in an easy chair. You'll see this white rectangle floating in the air. You'll watch some movies, you'll read some of the books, and you'll look at some of the pictures. You'll have a good time. But you won't stay there. You'll put everything away. You'll turn off the light, shut the door, walk forward, and move forward in life. And on occasion, of course, you'll revisit it. But some of us, however, will stay there too long, way too long. Maybe they, are enjoying themselves so much. But they stay there so long that they end up taking that past, they bring it into a future that doesn't exist. They create that future from that past. They relive that past and that future. This is why a lot of people that maybe doesn't connect with it a lot of the times, but they say no matter what we do, we always end up here. Haven't you heard people say that they feel like they're on a hamster wheel, or they feel like their whole life they've been going in circles? That's why. See? And it's difficult to correlate that for many people. Now, we'll all go into the future because we're poked by the ego mind. We're pulled, we're poked, we're agitated, frustrated. And so we'll take that path, the future, right? Tomorrow. And we will seek out external authority. Numerologists, right? Astrologers, card readers, palm readers, tea leaf readers, pendulum readers, crystal readers, psychics, clairvoyants, on and on and on. But we will seek out advice. Because we want to know about our future in certain ways. Because we get hurried, agitated. And so, what would you like to know, they say? And most of the time, one of the main questions is when am I going to have enough money to enjoy my life, in so many words? So they'll start doing their thing, and then they'll say, not all the time, but a lot of the time, they'll say, well, you're going to come into a massive amount of money in the next few weeks. And it's going to come out of the clear blue, and you're not going to expect it, period. How do you feel about that? Well, the first group, there's a response. There's always an emotional response. First group just looks at it as a joke. They just did it for giggles, right? They have no faith and no trust in themselves and the universe. So they just poo-poo it. The middle group, the people responses, they'll go bonkers. They will embrace it. They'll white-knuckle it. They'll create expectations and outcomes, attachments to the outcomes. They'll mark it down, and they just grip it and white-knuckle it every step of the way, right? Now, if you held a bird that way, it would die, right? No difference. You grip onto something so tight and not giving it any room to breathe, it will die. It won't happen. It won't manifest. The third person looks at it with enthusiasm and gratitude, and they embrace it. The only thing they do, because they've got total trust and faith in themselves and the universe, right? They know the universe has their back 24/7. Infinity and beyond. But they want to make sure that it's clear to the universe on how it's presented. And so they direct it and present it as clearly and finitely as possible, and then they let it go. They usually don't revisit it, maybe a little bit, but not a lot. And it manifests. The other two groups, maybe once in a blue moon. And that's what happens. So you see, in the now, it's not easy to stay in the now. It really isn't. Because of the fact that we're so used to being poked and prodded into the past or the future. where the ego mind exists. See, the ego mind wants to control you. Everything. Everything. Everything you do. Everything you think. Everywhere you go. Everything you experience. All of it. Control it all. It is a control freak. And it constantly is trying to figure out a way to be safe. Isn't that crazy? It's constantly trying to figure out a way to be safe, secure, happy. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? So it's discovering and having great awareness of who and what you are. That's what this is all about. And then when you begin to understand that being in the now is total peace, no stress, no worry, no fear, no anxiety, no hurry, you get used to it. At first, no. It takes a while. It just doesn't feel comfortable because why? Because we've been so long in the ego mind, the control freak. You could be a dog, lay on a nail. You lay on that nail long enough, then you'll be comfortable with it. I kid you not. You won't move, right? Because if you move, you're in pain. So you just lie there on that nail through life. And this is why a lot of us will say, I'm good with everything. I'm good. It's good with everything. I've been this way for 50 years. I'm not going to change anything. See? I'm not going to disrupt everything. I'm safe this way. It's taken me a long time to be safe this way. Why would I want to do anything else? And see, constantly moving in some ways is phenomenal. So you're moving with thought, but you're overseeing thought. It isn't directing you, you're directing it. You're not controlling, you're flowing. Okay? And you shift. You go different directions. And you go into, and this is what, picture all of us standing in front of a bridge. We look down quite a ways, about maybe 1,000 feet down, right? We see this massive whitewater river just gushing. And we know that the current is so strong it rip our bodies apart, right? Now, the bridge crosses that river to the other side. None of us have ever traversed that bridge. We don't know how safe it is. Really, we don't, right? And it's a long drop. And we can't see where that bridge is supported. We can't figure it out. Why? How is that bridge supported across over that river, that raging river down there? A lot of us, the freak, control freak starts kicking in and says, oh, I don't know. You don't want to go across that. What if it breaks? What if you fall down? You'll die. Some of us, however, that doesn't even enter. We're going to go to the unknown. That's where that is, the unknown. And we're going to cross the bridge. We're going to walk into the unknown. And the unknown is where all the possibilities are. Now, the others will look around and see if there's another way to safely go across that river. They won't find a way. That's the only way. So a lot of them will just stay there on the shore, right? Waiting, watching, waiting, and watching. Look at Jim. There he goes. Can you see him anymore? No, it looks like he's crossed. Did the bridge fall apart? No, it didn't. Wow, isn't that something? You can do it? No, I'm not going to do it. No. What are you going to do? I'm just going to watch others. I'm going to watch the others go do it. This is what we do in a lot of things. It's the unknown world possibility zone. Now, when we look at this planet and we look at ourselves, and you wouldn't be in these meditations if you weren't aware that you are not the body, but the God within it, to a certain extent, right? And so we look at this planet and we say to ourselves, this planet has been infiltrated with pure evil for a long time. And we, the gods, all know that. And we say, it's time that we eliminate that. And we eliminate it with pure, deep, eternal love, which is the highest high vibrational frequencies. So we look at that and we say, let's cleanse the planet with pure, deep, eternal love. Let's saturate it, permeate it. So, in full compassion, non-judgment, non-ego, non-negativity, stillness of mind, gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, prosperity, abundance, all one, all God, all love. So how are we doing this? How are we doing it? How are we purifying this planet? How are we increasing the vibrational frequency? How are we eliminating all these lower, goopy, dark matter frequencies? We're flooding it. We're flooding it with, we create this massive white fire circle of light around the equator of the planet. This emanates from the gods that we are within these bodies. It is pure, deep, eternal love. And this light is so bright that it grays out the darkness of sacred space. And now understand, one of us, one, which is part of the one, the whole, the light is so bright that you could take 1,000 suns, bunch them together, and their light would pale in comparison to your light. That's a fact. Now you imagine the 1 billions and trillions and centillions and mega gazillions of us throughout existence. There's nothing comes close to it. So it is effortless with this light because we're saturating and permeating and flooding the planet, infinity and beyond, all life, the highest supreme value in the universe. So the dark matter, the souls that have taken on too much darkness, the pure evil, the rogue AI, all of this is being eliminated through pure, deep, eternal love. And none of us, see, we go through this, we're trained to be separate. We're trained to believe we're separate through what our eyes see. Our eyes see bodies, and trees, and it's all separate. We're not one. We're all separated. And this is living in the past and the future. This is what this is about, the ego mind, the control freak, and everything. But when you realize it comes to you, and you understand it to a certain extent, all of the off-worlders, galactics and celestials, and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond forever, we only know about a smidgen of these other civilizations, the Pleiadians, Sirians, Arcturians, Andromedans, felines, Zeta Reticuli, Anunnaki, Nords, Greys, Draco, Reptilian, Golden Pyramid, Avian. That's like a quantum particle compared to all the other species and civilizations throughout existence. Right? Are they separate from us? No. We are one. The bodies appear separate, right? But the God within that body, inhabiting that physical form and experiencing it, is one. We're one. We're all one. So it's the same with everything. It's the same with the Ascended Masters. They inhabited physical form, right? Kuan Yin, Maitreya, Buddha, Lakshmi, Ganesh, Gaia, Saint Germain, Christ, El Morya, Vedantia, Pel, Thoth, Yahweh, Yeshua, many, many, many more. What about our loved ones who have ascended out of physical form in this lifetime and all lifetimes we've inhabited? Are they separate from us? No. Not the gods within our bodies. What about the fairies, the sprites, the elves, the gnomes, the dwarves, the trees, the trolls, the elementals, earth, air, water, fire, ether, wood, the mermaid, the dolphin, the whale, the pegasus, the unicorn, the centaur, the minotaur? No. Are they separate? No. The gods in those physical forms are experiencing those physical forms. They're part of the gods within these bodies. You know, all the light energy spectrums, all existence. You look at this planet. There's about 8 billion of us gods inhabiting humanoid forms, right? And experiencing them, and discovering, and becoming aware. Then we've got all of the other gods inhabiting all of the other forms. It's massive. This is a God planet. Period. Okay? We are transforming it into a paradise. We are here to enjoy our lives, not suffer them, right? We are here to have things happen for us, not to us. And in that process, we're here to rediscover that we are gods in physical forms and not the physical forms. And that we are here to discover that we are not separate, right? We are one. And the separation is the illusion. Now, we as gods create a lot of things. We create them to remind ourselves of things because we have a touch of amnesia. So we form columns of light. And we interact with bodies of light, like the ocean of glitter. Right? This is everywhere, reflecting clear, vibrant, multicolored glitter, it looks like. We are the glitter. Right? And we are those microscopic reflective point mirrors. All of us are learning, teaching, and learning with each other. I don't care if a bird flies over you in the sky. Doesn't matter what it is, a blade of grass, a leaf on a tree. You're learning. Now, if you're immersed with the control freak and you're existing in the material physical world, you'll miss most of it. You will miss most of it. Now, if you decided to go within and start discovering who and what you truly are, you'll experience a lot of it. And you can go and remember when you were a child, and when you would look at something and you would say, I want to be that. I want to know what it's like to be that. You didn't have any motives, ulterior motives, and you just wanted to be, you want to know what that's like. What's that like to be that? You still do that today. Focusing on the breath, moving into the now, being still, looking at something and saying, what would it be like to be that? And for a brief moment, you'll know exactly what it's like to be that. Now, we're flooding this planet in so many different ways. We create a crystalline light tower, right? The gods that we are created this tower. It's larger than the solar system. It houses in the center of the column a oblong sphere. In the center of the sphere is a golden white bowl of light. It, in turn, is surrounded by numerous multicolored rings of light, infinity and beyond. This, in turn, creates a super bright, white, misty, sparkling cloud. This is absorbed through our heart minds. It feels like a warm embrace that never ends. Now, we discovered that the golden white bowl of light is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, and the purest of the purest purest eternal love. Then comes gratitude, well-being, gentleness, kindness, generosity, and humbleness, bliss, joy, peace, tranquility, benevolence, massive prosperity, and massive abundance. And all of this is a reflection of the gods that we are within these bodies. Now, at the top of this column, we designed it to the golden ocean. Can come cascading down 360 degrees. We, the gods, designed it, created it. And the golden ocean is saturating, permeating, and flooding this planet and all life, the highest supreme value in the universe. What is the golden ocean? It's pure, deep, eternal love, the highest of the highest high vibrational frequencies. We are drops of this golden ocean. We also hold the essence of this golden ocean. Golden ocean is the drops of the golden ocean. The only illusion is separation. Now we see our meditative sphere. We, the gods, created that. Four and a half years ago. It's moving towards holding 1,900 meditations in perpetual motion. These meditations have been created by the gods that we are. Hundreds of millions on and off world. This sphere can be seen, heard, felt, and all that there is, ever has been, ever will be, ever beyond, and forever. It continues to grow, intensify, and expand. This is infinity and beyond. This isn't going to end. It's not a short stay. It's infinity. So you can watch it. You can literally, we're all watchers. So you move into your breath, you move into the now, you are focused on the now, and you watch. You can float there. You see what we, the gods, have created. We've created an atmosphere of golden white pink light. The sky, everything. Everything is saturated and permeated. You can flow through it, walk through it, swim through it. And it is the highest of the highest high, the deepest of the deepest deepest, the purest of the purest purest, eternal love. And you can see all this dark matter. You can see souls that have taken on too much darkness. You can see pure evil. You can see rogue AI goop evil. You can see lower dark matter, survival matter frequency. And they're all evaporating everywhere. They're going up into this golden white pink field, and they're disintegrating. They're vanishing. They are no more. They are permanently eliminated. And this is through pure, deep, eternal love. They can't maintain their frequency form. Not with the high vibrational frequency of pure, deep, eternal love. They will cease to exist. And that's what's happening on this planet. That's what's transpiring. This is part of the Great Awakening for this civilization. In eventuality, we will move into five-dimensional frequency. Do you think we're going to stop there? No. Then will come 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and so on. Our bodies will change and reconfigure. All this is going to transpire. Can't be stopped. Can't be stalled. This is what's taking place. Some will take longer, others shorter. But all in all, this civilization is going into 5D. and beyond. The inner path of healing you is the only way to discover total freedom. Explore what it's like to choose to heal yourself everywhere you go and whomever you are with. Make the commitment to be with you today. Find inner peace with what you cannot. This is your special sacred healing day. Wherever you go today, pretend that you are continuously merging with this loving energy and healing experience. Stay connected throughout the day by saying, I am whole, healed, and complete. Focus on receiving the most nourishing, peaceful, healing energy you can fathom. I'll join you in the meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy, slow breath in through the nose and an easy, slow breath out of the mouth. Be still. Do you know why there is so much suffering in this world? Because most everyone is over-identified with their thoughts and wrapped up in their ego. An illusionary, limited identity. This ego trip gets in the way of knowing yourself to be a living, flowing source of love, sweetness, and joy. Drop whatever knowledge you have that is causing you to cling to your ego. Stop reacting and start to consciously allow life's natural, intelligent, and conscious loving energy to flow through you. You are divine essence itself. Take this with you for the rest of the day and the evening and night, the following morning. We will return here Sunday, July 31st, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation.